Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Julia, and as you can tell by the title of the video, I'm going to be talking about my pregnant at 17 story, and I'm going to be answering some questions that I asked my followers on social media. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start off with like kind of before I got pregnant, like right before obviously, and then my pregnancy, and then my labor and delivery, and then now. So before, well, okay, so I have my boyfriend and we started dating in August, and I also got pregnant in August. And so, okay, backtrack. So, a while ago, like maybe like over a year ago, I was on birth control before. I was on the pill, and then I stopped because of a heart condition. But then, and from my birth control, I always had super regular periods. So, I was late. And I kept waiting because I was like, okay, maybe it's just, like late. And then I think 5 days went by, and I was like, okay, yeah, like I'm really late. Like my period is nowhere to be found. So, then I like brought it up to my boyfriend. I was like, okay, look, I've never missed my period. Like he bought me a pregnancy test, and it had like 3 in the pack. So one morning he came over and I just took it, and literally like it says like on the package it's supposed to take like 3 minutes or something like that. It's probably over like a minute, I don't know, but a long time. Literally in like 30 seconds it popped up like plus plus plus. I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So that was one of the questions. It was like what was your first thought? I wasn't really surprised because I've never missed my period like that, and I've never been late, so I kind of already like figured I was. And I wasn't really scared. I was kind of just like, oh, I guess I'm not going to college now. So then we were just kind of went about our day, and he like left, and then we kind of like, I mean, we still talked about it. We were kind of just like, dang, like what do we do now? And then only about a week went by because I'm really close with my mom, so like I can't not tell my mom. Like, I don't know. I know, like, I've watched multiple videos like this, and they're like, oh, I hid it. I can't do that because my mom's my best friend. So, what I did, I waited till she went out of town to go see my grandma, and so then I sent her, like, a long, nice, juicy text, like, hey, mom, by the way, I'm pregnant. And she responded. She was just like, I'm in shock, da da da. And then, like, we were talking about it, and I was freaking out by that point. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I cannot have a baby. And she was like, it's okay, like, I love you no matter what. And me and my boyfriend were kind of just like thinking about it and like what was gonna happen. And I don't really remember him freaking out like too bad. We were just kind of like talking about it. We had decided that I was gonna go up to this clinic, and it was this clinic in Richmond. And the first appointment is to just like get a consultation of like how an abortion would go, and then the next appointment that they schedule you for is supposed to be the actual like procedure. So we went up there. It was me, my mom, my stepdad, and they give you an ultrasound and to like confirm it. Well, the biggest thing like that I should probably mention, they offer like, I think it's the law, I don't really know, like, or maybe just their rule, but no, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's by law. They have to offer to let you see the ultrasound and hear it, and I said yes to both. And I think like that kind of did change my mind the most. Like I was already kind of second guessing. I wasn't like full on like, yes, I can't have him. And then on the drive home, because I was coming from Richmond, so on the way home, like I was just in there thinking. And then I had the little ultrasound picture, so I was just looking at like, dang, what would my baby look like? Like I was just thinking of like a 10-year-old, like all the fun stuff. And then I like was definitely leaning more towards keeping the baby. And so then like I brought it up to my boyfriend, and he was super not happy about it. At that point I kind of didn't care. Like once I kept thinking about it and bringing it up, I kind of didn't care like what he thought. I know that sounds messed up, but like I really wanted to keep him. And then um I decided I want to keep him, like, full on, like, and then I brought it up to him, and he was, like, talking to his mom, and, like, then it was just a whole big thing. And then, okay, so then my mom completely flipped, right? Then, like, I still have the text message, too. I will not delete it because it was so funny. This was, like, I think the same day I told her. She was like, no pressure or anything, but just in case you decide to change your mind, I'm so freaking excited, like all this stuff. She was so excited, and that would make me really excited, because to know like not everybody has their family to support, but like, oh my gosh, like I'm not gonna be by myself. that was pretty much it, like, when I found out. So school was starting. This was like middle to late August when I found out. So then, like, I think my appointment was like the weekend before. We're just sitting here going to school, not telling anybody. Actually, I told my best friend, Alexis, shout out to Alexis. I told her, and I was like, well, I told her I thought I was, and she was like, oh, like, for real? And she was freaking out too. And then I told her when I was, and she was super supportive, and she has been this whole time. But she was the only person I told, and at the time, my boyfriend's best friend, that was the only person he told. So it was only, like, those people, and, like, at the time, it really was only those people in our family. Because a big thing that I was worried about, like, I don't care what people think, but I didn't want it to get out, and then, because there's, like, a 3-month, like, safe, or danger zone type thing. That's what I kept calling it, like, the 3-month danger zone. I was looking. And because I was scared that, like, if people find out, then, like, what if I lost him? Because when you're still in, like, the first trimester, basically, when you're still in the first trimester, there's a risk of miscarriage and stuff like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, if people find out, then, like, and I lose him, I'm gonna be super tore up. And then everybody found out because my boyfriend's best friend told somebody, and then that person told, like, people, and then basically, you know how it goes in high school, then everybody knew. And when it's something that big too, then it definitely gets around, like, super fast, which I still didn't care. It was just so funny because, like, even people I have been close with since elementary school, they'd kind of, like, look at me, because they knew, and I knew they knew just because I knew, like, everybody probably heard about it by now. And it was so funny because, like, they wouldn't say anything because they didn't want to upset me, or, like, you know, like, that's just an awkward thing. Like, they probably didn't want to be like, oh, are you pregnant? I'm like, no, like, where'd you get that from? Or, like, I don't know. So I wasn't showing at all, and, like, and, like, nobody asked me about it, so I kind of just acted like I wasn't. I did not really, like, a couple of people did ask me. For a while, it was, like, silent treatment. Like, nobody would, like, really say anything to me, like, about it, and, like, they just keep their mouth closed. So I would still just keep, like, rolling along. And then finally, like, certain people would start to ask me, and I would be like, yeah, don't tell nobody. It's like, but I'd just be like, yeah, and then they'd be like, oh, for real? And then they'd start asking so much questions, and I'm like, yeah, like, pregnant. And then, like, more and more people started to come to me about it, and then more and more people started to talk crap about it, and that's kind of it for, like, people-wise. And literally, like, school is, like, not that bad at all. Like, people, I think a lot of people, like, some people that I was super close with in, like, middle school and elementary school, they were shocked that it was me that got pregnant, because, like, I mean, I always talk to a lot of people, but I never, like, really did stuff with a lot of people, and a lot of people know that too. So, like, when they found out, they were like, Julia? The teachers were super nice, like, but I know that's why, like, I feel like they thought people were being mean to me, so they were just naturally being super nice, and I didn't mind. And, like, I kind of got, like, special treatment, not in, like, ways that, like, teachers gave me good grades or something like that, but I always got, like, free food. Like, I have my counselor, he, like, just came up to me and offered me, like, a whole pizza because he, like, didn't eat it all. And I was like, sure, I will take that whole pizza. So then I was still just going to my appointments, and nothing really was going on. Like, it was pretty boring. I didn't have any symptoms at all. I got a cold, like, I think still in my first trimester, maybe my second, but I got a cold for, like, a week and a half, and it made me, like, so, like, just drained. I was so tired. I did not want to do anything. Like, I think I even skipped work a couple of times because I just was, like, done. Like, all I wanted to do was sleep. Other than my cold, I didn't really, like, experience anything at all. Like, I was just waiting for my bump because I didn't even feel pregnant. Like, I didn't pee a lot. I went to homecoming still, and went to prom still. I went to graduation still, obviously. Well, I had it before graduation, and before prom, actually. It wasn't until December when we went on Christmas break, like, right before December, I had, like, the smallest bump. And then, like, when we came back beginning of January from Christmas break, I was, like, huge. Like, I looked full on pregnant by then. And then, like, it kind of, like, stayed at the same size for a while. It got lower, like, towards the end. So one thing occurred. During my pregnancy, I don't exactly remember when, but my heart issues, we had to keep going to EVMS and Riverside. We had to go to both of them to like, one was the EVMS was a specialty and they were like monitoring his heart as well as mine. And then the other one was just my regular like checkups. And then we found out, but it was too much amniotic fluid. Like, they thought that the one time we went, they were like, oh, you have too much fluid, because they felt less movement. Like, he wasn't moving as much as he normally did. And they have like a set number of like counts or kicks or movements at all that you should be feeling within an hour. And like, it was like none in like over a day. Went to the hospital, and we went and they were like, you have like excess amniotic fluid. And so then they said the name, I don't remember, I should remember, but I don't. And then they sent us back to EVMS to keep checking that, and then it was gone. Like, then it was fine, thank God. But that was the only like issue. Like, all I did was eat and sleep. Like, I'm like a cat. Like, I ate so much. My boyfriend always had to buy me food. Like, it was on. We ate so much. And when I wasn't eating, I was at school or I was sleeping. Every chance I got, I tried to sleep. Like, it was just so much fun. I loved it, which is like so hard now because I never get to sleep, never. But so on to the labor and delivery. So my due date was May 7th, and I knew he was a boy. I had him April 25th. Wednesday morning, I wake up at 5:30, and I woke up because I was cold, and then I felt wet, like it was like a wet cold, and I was like, what in the world? And then I'm just laying there, and I was thinking, like, you know when you kind of wake up, you're half asleep, you're trying to figure out what's going on, like, especially when it's something like that. So I'm just laying there, like, every time I exhaled, like, more came out, like more liquid. And I was like, am I really sitting here peeing on myself? Like, what the heck? Because then every time I exhaled, more and more came out. And I was like, that's not peeing. And I was like, I'm not trying to do it. So then, then it clicked. I was like, oh my God. Because, okay, so backstory to the night before. The night before, my mom told me, she was like, well, I was like, what if it breaks? Like, how do I know if it broke? And she said, all you have to do is go to the bathroom and pee. And if more comes out, then that's like your water probably broke, like, because it's not pee anymore. Like, there's more stuff coming out and you just peed all you could. So that clicked, and I like got up and I was like, oh my God. And so like I had a towel wrapped around me because it was coming, like it was just liquid everywhere. And then I was just like waddling, and my mom's door is across from mine. So I'm sitting here and I go and I knock, and I'm like, Mama. She was like, yeah. And I was like, I think my water broke. And I heard her jump up, and then I made my way to the toilet, and I'm just sitting there, and I did the pee thing, and then I was sitting there, and then like she was standing at the door. By this time she was standing at the door too, just looking, because we were like, oh my gosh, like if more comes out, that's the baby. And like more came out, and it kept coming and kept coming. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And I actually, that night, I had fell asleep on the phone with my boyfriend, and by this time, my mom is on the phone with every single family member you can think of, like, in my room, and I was tapping on the phone, and he was like, because it's 5:30, so he was like, did you really just wake me up? It's 5:30. I was like, my water broke. He said, for real? It was so funny, too, because you could tell the difference in his tone. And then he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And so then he was getting up. His mom had got up. She on the phone, and then we kind of like got off. He was getting ready, and I had my bags already packed, and I had already called the hospital. And she was just like asking me questions, and she was like, okay, yeah, it sounds like your water broke. Go ahead and come in. I'm in labor. No contractions. My water had just broke. But she was like, go ahead and come over to the hospital. We got there about an hour later. I remember we wrote down 6:22. So it's just me, James, and my mom. And then my sister, actually, she was back at VCU. That's where she goes to school. So she came from Richmond. And I'm trying to think. My dad and my stepmom were on the way. Like, everybody was basically on the way to the hospital. And I'm just sitting there chilling because I had no contractions, right? And when you first get there, they like check you to make sure your water did break, and like they have to check your cervix to see how dilated you are, which that really hurt. They move you to your room, and basically I was just chilling. Like I was just sitting there for a while. Induced me with Pitocin, and it basically starts up your contractions because the Pitocin was going in. They hooked me with IVs. They took my blood, did all this stuff. Got everything checked in. I had like a million bracelets on my arm. And we're watching TV. And then the contractions kick in. That, oh my gosh. Contractions hurt so bad. They are, at first, like it starts off and you're like, okay, this is like period cramps. I never had bad period cramps. Like, I think one time I had period cramps, and you know what, I was on the floor, and that's where I felt like being. First it started off really slow, and then like you don't pay attention to it because it starts off slow, but then it feels like one is slow, the two is kind of still slow, and then third one is like bam, like you're on full-on contractions. And like it's so funny because I was laying there, I was facing my boyfriend, and I was like just sitting there, and I was holding in my tears so bad. All I wanted to do was sleep. Like I was so ready to just like, I wanted the pain to be gone so bad. And it like I was on my knees on the bed, like on the top of the bed, and like they come and check my cervix, and I'm only 3 centimeters. 3 out of 10. Like, well, you're only 3, like I would just go ahead and get it because you're already in this much pain and all this stuff. So then, and a big thing, I kind of was leaning more towards not getting an epidural just because I have a super huge fear of needles. Like the contractions I thought hurt so bad, but the numbing needle for the epidural, like it wasn't even the epidural, it was the numbing needle. It's like if you've ever been stung by a wasp or like a hornet or something like that, imagine that same stinging feeling all the way up your spine, like for a good 10 seconds. Like it hurt so bad, and I was crying, and like I was bending. They make you hunch your back, and I was like, they lifted the bed up. I did not know they were gonna do that. I was so scared. I was like, what is this doing? And they lifted the bed up super high, and they made everybody leave the room too. Then I was really scared. I was like, all right, except my mom. Like they were like, one person can stay. So my mom was in there, and then it was over pretty quick, and then I was like happy. I wasn't like a lot of girls, like some of them are like super loopy. I was still pretty tired. I still was just, it didn't take, like, it took the pain way down, like but it still was really uncomfortable. And then like that was at around 1 o'clock when they gave me the epidural, and then the doctor came right back in right after they gave me the epidural, and he checked my cervix, and then I was 5. They checked me, and then they left, and so then it's me, my best friend Alexis, and James. We're all sitting in the room, we're just chilling, and then I'm just sitting there, and I was super focused on the contractions because I wanted to see how I was going to be able to tolerate the contractions how they felt now with the epidural, and I still have 5 more centimeters to go. So I was trying to focus and see how it felt, like for real, and especially at the peak. So I'm just sitting there focusing, and the first one, it was fine. Like I was still just like, I can still feel it. I want it to go away completely, but thanks. The second one was kind of like that too, and then the third one, like it was still felt like that, but then like in like my vagina, like I felt like burning and like stretching, and I was like, okay. So then I was a little suspicious. I was like, that can't be the baby, like they just said I was 5. But in my mind, that's what pushing would feel like. So then I kind of connected it to that. And then like the next one came, and it felt like that too, but a little bit more, and I was like, oh my gosh. Well, okay, so the first one, when I felt the stretching, I had said something because we were having a conversation, and I stopped talking, and they were like, what, you know, they're freaking out because I'm in labor. And Alexis, it was like, what, like what's wrong? And I was just sitting there, and I was like, I felt like stretching, and I was really confused because I was like, they only just said I was 5, like that can't be the baby already. And so then we kind of just like ignored it, and then my next contraction came, and I felt it again, and then I was sitting there, and I was like, and I stopped again, and they were like, what? And I was like, I felt it again. And the first time my boyfriend had asked me, he was like, do you want me to go get somebody? And I was like, no, like, that can't be the baby. And then, go get somebody. Like, the second time he came, I was like, go get somebody. Like, that feels like full on, like, a baby is coming out of me. And then, the doctor came back in. They came in, and they checked my cervix. And she's like, oh, there's the head. And I was like, what do you mean there's the head? So then Alexis was like, all right, I'll see you later. So, and they were both here at the same time. So when the doctor came in and she was about to check my cervix, James had ran out. And, well, no, he had ran out before to get them, and then he was still gone. So, and Alexis and all of them are out of the room. It's just me and that doctor. Little did I know, James had ran all the way out to, like, where the waiting room is. Because my family, like, after I got that epidural, they were like, okay, she's chilling now. Like, we can go eat and do stuff. And they were all talking with all my family and all my friends and stuff out the waiting room. And then, like, they told me that he, like, ran down and he was like, the baby's coming, and then just disappeared, like, back down the hall. And they were all just like, what? And then they all ran in, and I'm just sitting there like, the baby's coming, like, when they got back in the room. And then, because literally it went from 0 to 100 real quick, like, oh my god. And it, like, I wasn't scared. Like, that's a big thing that everybody kept asking me when I was pregnant. I was not scared, but, like, in that moment, I still wasn't scared. I was shocked because, like, because of how quick it went. Like, they were in business, like, super quick. I guess they have, like, an emergency 911, like, babies come in, like, pager for that doctor, because as soon as she walked out, like, 2 seconds later, she came back in, and, like, and the room filled up so quick. It was, so the people I allowed in the room was up to 4, so it's me, my boyfriend, my mom, and his mom, and, it was all 4 of us, no, that wasn't 4. My sister, like, 3 doctors over by, like, the little incubator section thingy. And then I had, like, 6 doctors in front of me. And then the lights were on. There's, like, these 2 huge, like, bright white lights. And then, there was these 2 huge bright white lights. And then there was, like, in my mind, I thought they put my legs up, but they didn't, because they just, like, lifted them up, because my sister held my left leg, like, they needed somebody to hold the left leg, and another doctor was holding my right leg, and they put, like, this, like, kind of like a tarp type sheet under me for, like, you know, all the liquid and everything that comes out. I was just laying there, like, watching everything happen, and I was just like, wow, like, I'm about to have my baby. And then, like, I, like, still wasn't with it yet, because I was still just sitting there like, okay, can y'all slow down? Like, he will get here when he gets here. And then they were just like, okay, when you feel your next contraction, you can push. And I was like, okay. Okay. And then I pushed. And, but, like, I had the epidural, so, like, looking back, like, they were, like, push as hard as you can and stuff like that. Oh, hey, good morning. But they, like, I was not pushing as hard as I could. And I feel bad saying that, because then, like, they were like, okay, his heart rate's dropping, we need to get him out. I was like, oh my gosh. So they had to use a suction cup on his head. Like, it was like it looked like a mini plunger. Like, and then he, like, had to pump it up, like, I don't even know, he had to pump it up. And then, like, and they pulled it off and it snapped. And then it really hurt. Like, the contractions are, like, 3. That suction cup was 2, and the epidural numbing needle was number 1 on a backwards. I did the backwards, least to greatest. So, like, number 1 was the most painful. He was there. Like, they pumped, like, twice, and then the 3rd time they pumped, like, then I think his head came out, like, by itself. But then, like, literally, as his head came out, like, it was my last push. And then I was like, like, I pushed so hard, and then he came out. And then, yeah, I had a baby. It was crazy. And then, like, I still wasn't with it. Like, I was still just sitting there like, did that really just happen? And then I had to get stitches in, like, 3 different spots. I was screaming and I was, like, crying real bad because the suction cup hurt. So they had put an oxygen mask on me, and it was fogging up because I was crying when I heard his cry. It was really bad. Like, I was crying. I was like, this is my baby. No, it's not so cute, but I'm kidding. They took him over to, like, his little station thing, and then they were, I don't really know what they do over there. I was looking, like, I was like, that's my baby. And then, but I didn't really see everything they did. And, like, my boyfriend, he went straight over there, and so did my sister. And then, they were fixed, like, worrying about, like, cleaning up and getting my stitches done. And I was scared the stitches were gonna hurt, so I was like, James, you can hold him first. You don't know. Then they were like, or I just told James, I was like, you can hold him first, because I don't want like, oh, excuse you, because I don't want the stitches to hurt. And can I burp you? Eventually, like once I got my stitches done, they brought him over to me, and then did you just? Yeah, you did. See that? No, we're back. Are you okay, man? And then they moved me over to the other room, and that's pretty much it. Like, it went really, really fast because I had him at 1:52 p.m. And keep in mind, they, I'm trying to think. I think it was like around 1:15 that they gave me the epidural. So from 1:15 to 1:52, like 5 centimeters to 10 centimeters in that little time. And it happened really fast, but it was fun. Like, it was fun. Like, it was not that bad at all. And I didn't really expect it to be bad though. Like, the whole time, like, everybody kept being like, oh, are you ready? Like, oh my gosh, it's so scary, it's gonna hurt so bad. I mean, what do you expect? You're pushing a baby out your vagina. Like, yeah, it's gonna hurt. But yeah, it was fun. And then, like, I just couldn't stop staring at him. Like, when we got into the other room, even, like, my boyfriend, too, we were just, like, hey. He will be 2 months on this upcoming Monday on the 25th. His name is Carter, for those of you who don't know. But, yeah, that is it for this video. So, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. Bye.